Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. My name, of course, is Open Potato. This is Democracy 4. Today is a big day because the second playable country, has been added to the game. That's right, we can play as the US of A in Democracy 4, and we're going to be doing exactly that today. We had a pretty good run. As the Socialist United Kingdom. I'm hoping that we're going to go for a slightly different tack in the US. However, we'll talk a little bit about that as we jump in. I am going to be playing as the Potato Justice Party. There we go. The Potato Justice Party, the party that is all about justice. Maybe you can get a little bit of a hint about what we're gonna be going for in this playthrough. Anyway, we're gonna leave everything on default. As you will know, the actual level of debt that is in this game is the real level of debt that is in the United States. There's a couple of things to talk about, a couple of unique characteristics about this country in the game. So, our debt-to-GDP ratio is at 95% at the moment in time. We have got a credit rating of AAA, which is the best that you can get. However, I believe that there is special dispensation towards the United States because of the fact that it is the dollar that is the global currency or whatever. So, therefore, we should expect to get slightly sort of preferential treatment from the debt markets, and we should expect to pay slightly less debt and have a slightly higher credit rating. So that's just something to consider. The United States, of course, has a tremendously large amount of spending devoted to the military. That is currently the largest single expenditure per quarter here. 20%, 176.56 billion. Then we got state schools, state pensions, then debt interest, etc., etc. I mean, you know, we are paying a substantial amount of interest on our debt. Don't get me wrong. It's just the fourth largest expenditure at this moment in time. Yeah, income-wise, most of our revenue is coming from income tax, 47%. So yeah, that's fine. We've got a lot of other little taxes, but nothing really as major as the old income tax there. Now, what issues are prevalent in the world of the United States in Democracy 4? Well, first and foremost, we got gridlock. It's all right. Decreasing GDP, decreasing motor opinion. I would love to sort that, actually. I would very much like to sort that, but that's not a big deal. Antisocial behavior, affecting crime, conservative opinion, liberal membership, tourism, etc. We've got the epidemic of fake news as well, which is kicking around, but doesn't actually affect anything directly. I believe that it does affect sort of polarization, and it leads more people to either being fanatically supportive or fanatically against. But we'll talk a little bit about that later. Alcohol abuse, yeah, that's an issue. Obesity is an issue. Hospital overcrowding is an issue. Respiratory disease is an issue. Doctors' strike is an issue. Uncompetitive economy is an issue. Pollution is an issue. The gig economy is an issue, but it's also fantastic. And environmental protests. So nothing with the exception of antisocial behavior that we haven't seen before. Right, so about the playthrough, what are we going to be doing over the course of this episode? Well, as you know, we pursued a whole bunch of socialist achievements in the last playthrough. This time, I think we're going to be trying to develop as much of a police state as we possibly can. The all-seeing state immediately sticks out to me as something that we should try and go for. Wrapped in the flag, maybe something like that. Bulletproof politics, I suspect, is something that we get if we resist assassination a certain number of times. Secret state as well. You know, there's a lot of stuff. Strong arm of the law. There's a lot of stuff that is sort of contingent on the law and order section of the map. Of the diagram of the map. Is this a map? Sure, it's a map. Anyway, we're going to be beefing up the law and order section as much as we possibly can. We're also going to be frequently referencing the intelligence briefing and trying to boost up all of these policies. So all of these policies, hopefully, will be at 100% at some point. So therefore, we're going to be able to increase our security effectiveness, which is going to be pretty darn great, if I do indeed say so myself. What else is worth noting before we get started here? Well, there was a little bit of an issue, supposedly, in previous builds, where you could just go into a tremendous amount of debt and nobody would care because you'd still be super duper popular and everything was good. That is not the case anymore, I believe. I think that has been changed, so we cannot rely on, you know, being in a deficit situation forever. We have to take action at some point. That being said, you know, the whole economic issue of profitability is not as big a deal in this playthrough as it was in previous playthroughs. As I say, this playthrough, it's all about law and order, it's all about the police state, and it's all about cranking as many policies into the law and order area as we possibly can. That being said, what do we want to take? What do we want to take action on in the first turn? Honestly, alcohol abuse is a good thing to fix in the first instance, I think. Right? We probably want to fix alcohol abuse in the first couple of turns. There is a significant cost to alcohol abuse, 17 billion a turn. I say a significant cost. That honestly feels like pocket change, but there we go. So what we can do to fix alcohol abuse is we can try and reduce alcohol consumption. By reducing alcohol consumption, we should be able to increase productivity, which will actually feed into the uncompetitive economy. We should be able to increase our productivity and therefore maybe get rid of the uncompetitive economy modifier if we're lucky. So we'll do that. We'll see if we can boost up the alcohol tax as much as we possibly can. Yeah, we'll boost it to like here. I know, poor opinion, equality, and poverty all going to be going in the wrong direction, but alcohol consumption very, very much going in the right direction. Also going to be bringing us in $11.6 billion, which is very, very nice indeed. Okay, so I mean, do we want to see if we can try and perhaps do something about the law and order department? I mean, I kind of like the idea of maximum private prisons, which liberals apparently love, and so do conservatives. That must be one of the only policies that liberals and conservatives love. I should mention, by the way, I'm not particularly bothered. I'm not particularly bothered about, you know, getting a certain number of voters. The voters that are probably going to be most in favor of the stuff that I'm doing are conservatives who tend to like, you know, harsh law and order policies, and also patriots as well, who tend to like certain law and order policies as well as certain foreign policy events. I'm not super bothered about the socialist versus capitalist divide. I'm not super bothered about getting, you know, a certain number of socialists on board or a certain number of capitalists on board. The only point at which that is going to become useful is when it comes to winning in 4 years' time, winning at the election. That is, we're going to want to make sure that we target the groups that we have that have most membership, and everyone, of course, is the largest group. So we could indeed try and fix that up, and we'll talk a little bit about the election as it draws nearer. But you know, we'll need to care about everyone's opinion of us. The tobacco tax, honestly, I don't know why that affects everyone. There are so few policies that end up affecting absolutely everyone, but the tobacco tax is one of them. Why does the alcohol tax not affect everyone? I mean, not everyone smokes, not everyone drinks. I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, capitalist membership of the capitalist group is the second largest group. It's the second largest group here, right? So it makes sense that we should try and appease the capitalists, at least if we want to get back in. Same with the middle income group, although that is literally only affected by income tax here. So, I mean, maybe straight away cranking down income tax would be a good idea. However, we need to fill that hole somehow. We need to find some way to make up the many, many hundreds of billions of dollars if we decide to cut income tax. Something else that we need to consider, I mean, this cabinet, it's not particularly loyal, but it's not particularly disloyal either. It's very middling. It's very, very middling. One other thing that I would point out just before we go on to the next turn, a lot of the policies in the law and order section are very, 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 very expensive to implement. And for example, if I have a little look here, yeah, we can get rid of that. If I have a little look at ID cards, for example, just a random policy here, 48 political capital to introduce doesn't really cost that much. Well, it costs 11 billion, but it's not that much in the grand scheme of things, right? 11 billion is the cost of the policy, but 48 political capital is the cost to implement. As you can see, we have a maximum of 32 political capital here. So we either need to have a really, 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 really loyal cabinet, or we're going to have to implement some emergency powers through something or another. I mean, honestly, it might even be worth trying to force an emergency power situation so that I can implement all of the law and order policies that I'm after. That sounds extreme, but honestly, that is something that we will probably be trying to do, I would imagine, because I don't think I'll reliably be able to increase the quality of my cabinet up to the point where they're able to give me 48 political capital. All right, let's just go to the next turn. Let's just go to the next turn, and we'll see exactly what the heck happens. Poverty increases. I mean, look, this is a direct result of the fact that we boosted the alcohol tax. A skills shortage is not really about to develop. We don't really need to worry about that, to be honest. We've not seen a skills shortage quite yet, but that's something to keep an eye on for sure. So, alcohol tax. Yes. Alcohol consumption hasn't started to head downwards. Got 2 turns of inertia there, so over the next couple of turns, we should start to see that decrease. I mean, press freedom. If I scale press freedom down, then that makes everyone like me a lot. That makes everyone like me a lot. I mean, democracy would go down a lot. Also, executive term limit. I'm gonna need to make sure that I crank this up. I definitely want to do that. What's the other one that I can affect? Executive term length, executive term limit. Yeah, so the term limit needs to be increased. I need to increase that to 3, and then I need to increase that all the way up to max, if at all possible. The reason that I want to do that, obviously, is because I want to stay in power. I don't think that it's going to be possible to achieve a complete police state over the course of, 2 4-year terms, so 8 years. I don't think it's possible. So yeah, that's just something to consider. Now, do we want to get on top of this economic situation in the first instance? I feel like that may not be a crazy idea. We just sort of crank up the old income tax. We crank it up to about 500 billion here. I don't think that this is likely to cause any tremendous tax evasion policies or anything like that. I don't think it's going to lead to any awful situation. The thing that we need to consider, right, is the fact that middle-income people are going to intensely dislike what I'm doing here. Intensely dislike what I'm doing here, and therefore they're not going to be voting for me at the next election unless I take some action to try and rectify that. I feel like I should try and appease capitalists, honestly. I feel like I should try and appease capitalists for sure. But I also feel like I should definitely try and just boost up some policies in this area. Tear gas, I mean, from max tear gas to low tear gas, I mean, I don't feel like that makes much of a difference. I don't even think it figures into the threat assessment. It doesn't, so it's a pretty pointless policy from my perspective. Tasers, on the other hand, tasers we can max out right away, which I feel like I should do. That's going to reduce crime and violent crime, which is nice. Also, the police force should probably be scaled up pretty much instantly. Get rid of alcohol or antisocial behavior and alcohol abuse. That would be really, really good. Also get a handle on unemployment, which is great. I tell you what, that's not what I wanted. Let's do tasers this time. Let's do tasers on this occasion. It is going to cost us slightly more, but that's fine. We can just about deal with that. Community policing, funnily enough, is not something that I really want to tackle on this playthrough. The reason that I don't want to mess around with community policing altogether too much is that membership of the liberal group is very problematic for my playthrough, and specifically the playthrough style. All of these policies which increase membership of the liberal group, I need to either cancel or scale right the way down. The Race Discrimination Act needs to be scaled right the way down. The reason that I say this is that if I introduce more and more extreme law and order policies, then liberals are going to continue to get more and more unhappy with what I'm doing, right? So therefore, it makes sense to try and reduce the membership of the group as swiftly as we possibly can. Right? Gated communities, we should scale that up, yep, so that we can try and decrease membership of the group as much as we possibly can. So that's going to be the plan. We need to try and, decrease liberal membership of the liberal group, because at the end of the day, it's only really liberals that get upset about the law and order policies. Nobody else really gets upset about it. Patriots like it, which is good. I'm not anticipating a problem with patriots. I'm not anticipating a problem with conservatives. I'm literally just anticipating a problem with the liberal voter group. Okay, children's food. Leave law unchanged. Yeah, okay, so the reason that I did this is entirely to try and appease the liberals. Even though it leads to negative health and negative parent opinion and positive obesity, liberals do like me by 10% more, which is going to be increasingly important. Oh boy, as if things couldn't get any worse. Okay, so drug addiction, this is not exactly ideal, but that's fine. Health has, like, deteriorated drastically. Contagious disease has now found its way into our society, and of course we don't actually have much of a state health service at all. We've got a private health service, which we could hopefully try and boost. Maybe try and boost the private healthcare service, because it doesn't cost me anything to boost that. However, it's going to cost me a lot of money. Oh my goodness, look at how much money it would cost to fully fund the state health service. Oh boy, that's crazy actually. I think we probably want to scale it right the way down. One thing that has been changed from Democracy 3 to Democracy 4 is that now, if we want to scale our state health service all the way down to non-existent, right down here, we actually make income. So we can actually go from it costing us 16 billion all the way down to bringing in 34 billion, which is actually not terrible, and something that we might try and do. Anyway, crime falls a little bit thanks to tasers. Unemployment decreases a little bit. GDP picks up a little bit. Honestly, that's completely fine. I'm absolutely okay with that. I'm gonna leave law unchanged again because we don't want to ban public smoking. We don't want to do anything that would upset liberals. Now, how do we want to tackle all of the issues that we do have in our society? It's a great question. Again, we should do it with reference to... Oh my god. Okay, so everyone hates the contagious disease. So solving the contagious disease issue looks to be a priority. Poverty increasing certainly doesn't help. I think that we want to go for a sort of two-pronged approach. Ooh, science funding? Science funding is gonna start to make a dent in this as well. I honestly think that this is something that we want to do. It's going to increase our GDP as well. Okay, you know what? Let's fund science. Fund science. It only costs us 7 political capital, so let's do that. What else can we do? The environment. The environment's probably in a pretty poor place at this moment in time. It is. That's fine. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Hospital overcrowding is feeding into the contagious disease thing. Pollution as well is a bit of an issue. How is my population decreasing the pollution? Not actually sure how... People don't breathe in carbon dioxide, do they? They breathe in pollution, that's for sure. But I don't get it. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. Okay. How else do we want to tackle... How else do we want to tackle health? Man, I mean, could we try and end this doctor strike? If we try and end this doctor strike, that would probably make a bit of a difference. We can actually try and manipulate wages. So, the way that we fix this doctor strike is either to change the labor laws, make them more pro-employer, which we could do. Which we could definitely do. That would increase our productivity a little bit. So that would be good to do. Cost me 6 political capital. But that would depress wages a little bit more. And that will sort of exacerbate the fact that there is a strike ongoing at this moment in time. Would increase the working week, make capitalists happy. Look, yeah, we can adjust this, but not by a huge amount. The other thing that we can do, is we can actually make citizenship tests harder to attain. Or we can actually decrease immigration, is what I'm trying to say. Because if we decrease immigration, then that actually will drive up wages. It does upset liberals, though. It does upset liberals, and I'm not entirely sure that I want to do that. Not entirely sure that I want to do that. Foreign aid is not going to make any difference to our plight at this moment in time. We could also solve poverty, or try and decrease poverty. Minimum wage... Don't really want to scale the minimum wage down at all. What else feeds into poverty? We could reduce the tobacco tax. I mean, honestly, reducing the tobacco tax to almost nothing is a good idea because it's going to make everyone happier with us, which is great. It is going to increase tobacco usage, though, which I don't really want to see. Not exactly ideal. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different ways that we can go about doing this. The other thing that I should point out that we could do, if I don't want to increase my state health service funding, is I can implement, what is it? Yeah, healthcare vouchers. It costs 13 political capital, and holy cow, costs me a lot of billions of dollars. But we could do it. We could very much do it, and that would increase equality, I believe, and also increase healthcare. Gender Discrimination Act. No, we probably want to decrease this as well. There's a lot of stuff that we need to think about here. Technology colleges. Yeah, I mean, and the police force, right? Like, I think maybe we just try and... If we solve antisocial behavior, it does solve crime a little bit, which makes everyone a little bit happier with me. You know what? Let's see if we can try and solve antisocial behavior. Sure, let's do that. Let's do that on this turn. Let's do that on this turn. Let's see exactly what the heck happens. 4 political capital to do that. We might even be able to do a few other bits and bobs. Food Standards Agency, if we increase that to the very max, then that does increase the price of food, but it does decrease obesity, increases health, increases liberal membership, and decreases the contagious disease. So we'll do that. Excellent. Charity tax relief, I don't think that's going to make much of a difference. It does affect health. Charity does indirectly affect health and education, so, you know, it would be good to do that. It would be good to change that around. Tasers, we're already maxed out. We're just waiting for that to occur. I guess we can boost food stamps, right? Sure. Yeah. Try and decrease poverty by a little bit. I mean, community policing, it's such a good policy. It's such a good policy under normal circumstances, but no, I can't justify doing it, I'm afraid. Okay. All right. Let's unpack what the heck is happening on this turn here. Okay, so GDP, a sharp fall mostly due to the fact that there is a deadly virus outbreak. Tourism just decimated. International trade down by a bit, GDP down by a lot, healthcare demand up by a tremendous amount, hospital overcrowding is going to continue to be exacerbated. Private healthcare, I really want to try and give private healthcare the ammunition that it needs in order to fight this outbreak. Crime is down though, so that's good. Unemployment is up, irritatingly, even though we ended up boosting police funding and science funding, which is not exactly ideal. A major donor has abandoned the party. I mean, I do need to consider that I am deeply unpopular at this moment in time. Deeply, deeply, deeply unpopular. You know what I need to introduce? Which is a brilliant policy that everyone loves. I say everyone loves, not everyone loves. Quantitative easing. That's right, quantitative easing. Let's max this out. And seriously, let's purposefully boost up inflation. This is a high risk, high reward policy, but I seriously think that we want to hyperinflate so that I can gain emergency powers, so that I can introduce more law and order policies. Seriously, I think that that's what we're after. Either way, with the fact that we've got the fact that we've got quantitative easing in place, it's going to give our GDP a little boost of 10%. Which is rather remarkable, actually. What's the threat assessment saying? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. The threat assessment is in a interesting place at this moment in time. Adjusting intelligence services, sure. We'll spend 3 political capital on that. That makes sense. The police force is already maxed out. That's totally fine. Yeah. Gender Discrimination Act. Yeah. The Race Discrimination Act. We need to try and take down to minimum, as I've already said, to try and reduce membership of the liberal group, because Race Discrimination Act and press freedom both need to be decreased to 0, I believe. Okay, let's see what the heck happens here. Right, so GDP, big increase. Unfortunately, if we're not able to sort that out, we'll almost certainly end up, decreasing our credit rating, which would be very, very bad. We're running a deficit, but we'll be running a surplus next turn if we don't lose our credit rating. Ban tobacco adverts. I'm gonna reject the ban. Look at that. Liberals freaking love it. Everything that I'm doing is trying to appease the liberals at this moment in time. My popularity has increased. Don't actually understand where the heck all of my popularity seemed to come from. Environmentalists seem to like me. Maybe if I can end pollution? Oh my goodness, I can totally end pollution. Well, that is brilliant. That is brilliant. That's because international trade was decimated, and also because GDP was decimated just for a turn. Turns out that's all we need to end pollution. All right, well that's good. That's really, really good. I'm happy with that. That is excellent. Let's strike while the iron is hot, shall we? How's our inflation looking? Our inflation is picking up. Our inflation is definitely picking up. We're getting to a hyperinflation situation. Slowly but surely we're getting there. Okay, what do we want to do in the intervening time? It's a great question. Armed police, how much would it cost to bump this up to max? I mean, it wouldn't cost that much. Is there any chance that I can introduce a brand new law and order policy? Perhaps one that is approved of by... Body cameras? I think body cameras are here, right? No, body cameras ain't here. CCTV. Let's boost up CCTV. Decrease. Oh, yeah, that's excellent. That's really, really good. We've got 18 political capital. It's going to cost me 10 to do that. Brilliant. Decrease membership of the liberal group. Again, very, very, very important. How are we doing with this whole contagious disease thing? Well, we're going to be fixing pollution, right? We're going to be fixing pollution next turn. Science funding is coming online very, very shortly. The doctors' strike. Oh, we were very, very close to just fixing the doctors' strike up. Honestly, let's see if we can try and adjust immigration. I know that it's not ideal, but I do think that that's the best way that we've got to increase wages at this moment in time. All right, so we'll do that. We'll do that. Citizenship test as well. We'll make that slightly higher too. Excellent. Okay. You win some, you lose some, etc., etc., etc. Honestly, I think that next turn is going to be pretty good. As long as our debt rating, as long as our credit rating doesn't decrease, we shall be good. It's going to be an active turn, this one, for sure. Oh, come on. Video game. It was just for one turn. It was just for one turn. Okay, business confidence decreases a little bit. I don't love that. I don't love that at all. Also, capitalist opinion decreases, which is not good. Pollution has ended. Antisocial behavior has ended. Crime has hit new lows, which is great, which means that everyone likes me a little bit more. Health is hugely up, which is great. This doctor strike, by the way. Oh, it's not going to end. It was so close to ending. It was so close to ending. But that is okay. I think maybe increasing private healthcare would be something to do. GDP does go down a little bit, but that's okay. I think we are technically running a surplus at this moment in time. Is it possible for me to just sell out my state health service? Is that possible? State health service. How much is that going to cost? 16 political capital, but I am going to go from spending 13 billion to making 34 billion. Now, the reason that I want to do this, and the reason that this isn't a completely awful, terrible decision, which it very well may be, it is going to see a little drop to health. It is going to see a little bit of a drop to health, but that's okay. That's fine. We can deal with that. And it is going to exacerbate hospital overcrowding. However, it's also going to provide a big growth to private healthcare, which is kind of what we're after. Is there anything else that we can do to grow private healthcare? Not really. Not really at this moment in time. Yeah, okay. Scale that right back. 16 political capital, a very, very expensive maneuver. Work safety law, I mean, can I just reduce this work safety law? Yeah, that's good, and that's going to be an instant little boost to productivity, which is great. What else? Pollution controls, can we scale back pollution controls? Again, I would like my GDP to grow as much as possible, please. How are we doing on our journey to hyperinflation? We're setting off. We're setting off on the journey to hyperinflation. It's going to take a little while to get there, but we should be fine. We should be fine. Oh, welfare fraud department? I would have implemented that if I'd have seen what you wanted at this, All right, whatever. Whatever. I will say we're in a little bit of a dicey situation. The Labor League is much more popular than I am at this moment in time. However, we just need above 50% popularity, and the way that we try and get everyone on board is by fixing this contagious disease, by manipulating press freedom, and by increasing human development. which hopefully should be possible. Education is actually going up thanks in part due to science funding, I believe. Nope, apparently that's not got anything to do with it. Technology colleges might be good to adjust. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that we want to adjust. There's a lot of things that we want to tweak, even just slightly. Uh-oh, that's not good. That's very, very, very not good. Parents dislike that a lot. A food crisis is about to develop. Honestly, that's not necessarily awful. That is completely fine, actually. If I could cut out this... If I could cut out biofuel subsidies, then that'll stop the price of food increasing. And it'll also save me a couple of billion here or there. How's the global economy doing? The global economy is actually decreasing, so it makes sense why my GDP is decreasing. We've got a little bit of a surplus here. I'm a little bit worried that my debt to GDP ratio is going to get a little bit out of control. Yeah, not exactly ideal. How are we doing inflation-wise? Not super bad. Not super bad at all. Maybe I've had a different tact. Maybe we need to take a slightly different approach. Maybe I need to scale back quantitative easing. I think maybe I do want to scale this back. The reason that I say maybe I want to scale this back, for political capital is basically free. The reason that I perhaps want to scale this back is that maybe we try and go for the sort of Hail Mary play next time we get elected. So we can do it like straight away, like boom, straight away after the election, we get a hyperinflation situation and we manipulate everything. That seems to me like a good plan. Contagious disease, yeah, it turns out that defunding the state health service did actually make a difference. Also, probably getting rid of pollution did make a difference. But private healthcare is hopefully it's going to step up. Hopefully it's going to step up. It's going to take a little while for that to take effect. 4 turns of inertia. So we got another couple of turns waiting before private healthcare is properly implemented. Race Discrimination Act, we need to decrease this as much as we possibly can. Save a little bit of money in the process. How much does this cost me? 12 political capital. Honestly, I think that's good. I think that we're setting ourselves up for success here. We are definitely setting ourselves up for success. It certainly feels that way. Okay. How are we doing? Capitalists? I mean, is there any way that I can appease capitalists a little bit? I mean, everyone hates the tobacco tax, honestly. Like, everyone literally hates the tobacco tax. It's super easy for me to just get rid of the tobacco tax, or at least decrease it to the point where it's just not relevant anymore. I just don't understand why people care about the tobacco tax so much. Like, people absolutely despise it. I mean, you know, that's 5%. But people don't mind an alcohol tax. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Another credit rating downgrade. That is going to make my job a little bit harder. GDP continues to go down, but that's okay. Just blame it on the global economy. Blame it on the global economy. That's totally fine. Health is on the up and up, which is good. Now, the reason that is good is because everyone is going to start to like me just a little bit more because there's none of this negative modifier due to the contagious disease. Literally the tobacco tax. Literally the tobacco tax that is grinding my gears here. Yeah, that's a big old pain in the backside. Okay, let's reduce that to nil. I mean, the reason that I'm so apprehensive about this is because there is an election, like, just around the corner. It's really easy, in fact, to forget how... it's really, really, really easy to forget how short election terms actually are. We're going to boost up the payroll tax, by the way. It's going to be ever so slightly unpopular, but it's going to net us like an extra 50 billion to play around with, and we need that money, really. We need that money to throw at people so that they like me a little bit more. Corruption, how high is corruption? Corruption's actually pretty low, which is good. So that doesn't feed negatively into everyone's opinion of me. Crime as well. Crime and violent crime are both at basically 0. Tobacco tax is going to be fixed. How long is it going to take to change? Not long, actually. Not long at all. Tobacco usage is going to increase. It's going to increase, and there's almost nothing that we can do about it. So the respiratory disease thing is still going to exist for a good long time. Obesity, yeah, it should have come down, but it's not going to be coming down fast enough for me. Technology colleges, no. I mean, maybe if I could boost up human development just a little bit, that would be great, but I can't, so I'm not going to faff around with that too much. How's my poverty looking? Poverty is looking not too bad. We could We could boost up food stamps just to the max there. 2 political capital. Very, very cheap. Speaking of, I should do these policies. These policies which make a little bit of a difference, but cost like almost nothing. Look at that. National Business Council, brilliant. Let's fund that as well. Fund that to the absolute max. I think that our GDP is going to grow fairly substantially next turn. Honestly, I'm optimistic. Yeah, this is exactly what I anticipated. A good turn all around. Cyberbullying is about to develop, but it's not really going to develop because internet speed takes eons to increase, even slightly. Poverty is down in a major way. GDP is up in a major way. Look at that. That is excellent. Brilliant to see. Unemployment is down. Fantastic. That's really, really good. Toxic waste dump. Prevent the construction of the toxic waste dump because environmentalists freaking love it when I do that. All right. How are we doing? How are we doing? Everyone likes me just a little bit more, which is good. The tobacco tax now no longer negatively feeds into people's opinions of me, which is great. How's my popularity looking? My popularity is looking very, very good. I'm still apprehensive about the fact that we've only got 8 turns before the election. Things could still definitely go wrong, but that is completely fine. That is completely fine. Uncompetitive economy modifier. What are the chances that I can just get rid of that? Productivity has increased substantially. Health, yeah, that's good. This doctor's strike is really showing no signs of ending, is it? I need to try and increase wages somehow. I need to try and increase wages or something. I need to try and end this doctor strike because this doctor strike is like, it's like 27%. 27% impacting health. I mean, that's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. Hospital overcrowding doesn't actually matter. Doesn't actually matter at all. It's literally just the doctor strike that makes a difference. The gig economy, we've already talked about the gig economy. I like the fact that we've got the gig economy in the place that it is at the moment. Environmental protests honestly seem to be trending downwards. No idea why, because the environment's trending upwards, apparently, which is great. Love to see it. So yeah, if we could fix this uncompetitive economy modifier, release the GDP, release the capitalist opinion, then there's a good chance that we could just fix all of our problems. I say fix all of our problems, you know what I mean. 18 political capital a turn. That's pretty darn good. How's inflation looking? Inflation is leveling off, so it's not going to get to a crazy place. It's actually going to decrease a little bit, which is fine. That's good. Very, very good indeed. Agriculture subsidies. Agriculture subsidies is actually holding back the price of food. I wonder what the price of food actually is, because I don't really want to develop a food crisis here. Yeah, where's the price of food? Here we go. Food price. It's okay. I do want to introduce a junk food tax. Yeah. I don't want to introduce a tax that would be super unpopular. Health food subsidies. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that actually. Okay, so health is up, plant-based diets is up, obesity is going to come way down, and it only costs us $1 billion or so. Right, what's my debt to GDP ratio looking like? It's not looking too bad. This is going to update. It's going to update my debt to GDP ratio next turn, and my debt to GDP ratio is definitely going to improve. The fact that we only have a credit rating of A is bad. It's bad. It's really, really bad. Something else that we could maybe look at. We could fund social care. That costs me an arm and a leg and doesn't really improve capitalist opinion. What about doing something like I don't know, maybe disability benefit or something like this. I mean, that's not going to make a difference either way. It's going to save me a couple of pennies if I scale it back, but that's not super important. State housing. I feel like state housing we could scale back a little bit, but again, actually, that's going to make us a decent chunk of change. But that is going to negatively impact poverty, so I don't really want to do that. Unemployment benefit, as I would say, it actually increases unemployment. So maybe I should scale this back. It is going to increase poverty, which is not exactly good, but it will decrease unemployment, which is good. That is good. That is very, very good. Okay, you know what? Let's scale that back. Let's scale that right the way back. Again, we're trying to appease the capitalists here. Capitalists are the largest group. Same with the religious voter group, actually. We could really do with just, like, implementing some sort of throwaway policy for the religious group. Yeah. But popularity-wise, you know, we're in a good place. We're in a good place. That's fine. That's totally fine. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. This is great. Okay, so first and foremost, the credit rating being upgraded is great for GDP, but more importantly, it's good for capitalists. It's also good for my surplus. It's also good for my surplus. Look at this. We currently have a surplus of $105 billion and could consider dropping taxes. What is this? Diplomatic immunity? Patriotic membership has increased by 10%. That's dreadful. Poverty has increased, but that is okay. The alcohol tax is now completely redundant, as we have just completely decimated. We have completely decimated all of the alcohol drinkers. So you know what? Let's scale this right back. We'll scale it back to like 40%. Sure, we want there to be some alcohol consumption, but not too much because it negatively impacts productivity. But also, you know, we don't want this massive negative modifier to poverty. We don't want a massive positive modifier to productivity. We do want a massive negative modifier to productivity. So that's good. That is very, very good. So, how are we doing popularity-wise? Not great. Not fantastic. Not fantastic at all. Approval, 100%. Approval, 45%. Parents really despise me. Motorist and a trade unionist. Yeah. Okay. We gotta be very, very careful. Inflation, by the way, continuing to rise. We've still got this 8 turns of inertia to take account of, but that's fine. I'm sure we'll survive that. Hyperinflation, I don't think is going to develop quite yet. 46% popularity in the polls. Patriots love me, which is great. Capitalists, what more can we do to try and appease the capitalists? Honestly, we could reduce income tax. But I don't think that that's what we really want to do. There is a couple of policies. I mean, welfare fraud department, for example, is a good policy that would be quite popular. But there is a policy. What am I thinking of? Is it small business grants? I don't think it's small business grants. Enterprise investment scheme? I think it's the enterprise investment scheme. Enterprise investment scheme does pretty much everything that we want it to do. Does increase GDP, which is nice. Costs us $11 billion, of course. But doesn't sort out what I thought it was going to sort out. There's one of these policies, I can't remember for the life of me, which maybe it's in... I'm almost sure that was in the economy section. Run entrepreneur scheme. Sure, we can fund that. Business startup campaign. Let's fund the business startup campaign. Yeah, there's a couple of these policies. There's one of these policies that for sure impacts... There we go. That for sure impacts productivity directly, but I cannot for the life of me remember what it is. I think it might be science funding? No, that's technology colleges. We've already got science funding in place, don't we? Yeah, we've already got science funding in place. 20 turns before that fully takes effect. Fine. Technology is going to continue to advance, by the way. The technological advantage is looking pretty darn good. Let's see what the heck happens here. Oh, no. Really? Really? Unemployment massively increases. Don't actually understand why there. GDP decreases by a lot because of the skills shortage. It's mostly fed into by the fact that education is so low? Really? And technology is so high, I guess? And because our immigration is so low? I guess we just need to boost education? Faith school subsidies? That is super expensive to implement. I mean, poverty decreases, which is good. We still have a massive budget surplus, which is great. How many turns until the election? 6 turns until the election? I mean, this is not exactly ideal. I feel like maybe I should try and reduce my income tax a little bit. Yeah, let's take that down. Let's take that down a little bit. So, equality will decrease, socialist opinion will decrease, but everything else is pretty much positive. Right, 2 political capital to do that's basically free, and that still leaves me with a budget surplus of about 25 billion. So we have actually managed to pay down our debt ever so slightly. It doesn't really look like it's even registering on the scale, but that's That's fine, to be honest. GDP, how on earth do we still have... How on earth do we have this? Skill shortage and the uncompetitive economy. I mean, uncompetitive economy has got to decrease. It has got to decrease. It has got to decrease. How on earth did we manage to get to this point where we have a skill shortage? Okay, doctor strike is decreasing, which is great. The doctor strike is going to end next term, which is going to increase health by like 20%, which is fantastic. Really, really good to see. Hospital overcrowding doesn't particularly matter. Fake news doesn't particularly matter. Gridlock, I mean, look, we could try and solve gridlock. We can fix gridlock basically by road building. There's a whole bunch of policies that we can implement in the transport section, but I just haven't thus far. I'm brutally aware, by the way, that we need to be bumping up our security effectiveness, and so far we've done nothing of the sort. But frankly, can you blame me? Things have been dicey. Things have been dicey here. I mean, bumping up art subsidies, capitalists hate it, though. And it increases membership of the liberal group. I don't feel comfortable doing that. Don't feel comfortable doing that at all. Adult education subsidies. I think this affects productivity. It totally affects productivity directly. I knew that there was one. I knew that there was one, folks. I had it in me all along. Smart meter program. Labor Day bank holiday. You know, I tell you what. Labor Day bank holiday. Sure. No. Negatory. We don't want that. I don't want that at all. Sure. We have no Labor Day bank holiday, but apparently that's still enough. The fact that we've considered it is enough to appease some socialists, which is great. Clean energy subsidies. I could, like, fully fund this. Capitalists would really dislike it. The environment would improve tremendously, though. Would that fix anything? That would maybe fix the environmental protests. If we're able to fix the environmental protests, then that would probably reduce traffic congestion, which might fix gridlock. I'm just hoping that uncompetitive economy is going to end soon. Ban face recognition in public. Ban face recognition in public. Capitalists don't like that? Oh, flippin' heck. That's irritating. Liberals do like it, though. Okay, doctor strike has ended. Excellent. That means that health, wow, boom, shoots right up. Excellent. Really, really good. The fact that our credit rating has been downgraded is actually a big, big problem. Yeah, that puts us in a massive deficit situation. Now, I think that next turn we'll be able to recover almost entirely from that deficit situation because our GDP should grow. It should grow again, but I'm not happy about this. I'm not happy about this at all. The global economy is still in a state of decline, which is problematic, I would say. Very, very problematic. Yeah. It's not good. The skills shortage, how's the skills shortage looking? It's definitely being impacted, but it's going to take a couple of turns. It's going to take a good couple of turns before that gets fixed. Adult education subsidies has got 8 turns of inertia. Popularity-wise, I mean, we're good. We're almost there. We're almost there. We're almost across the line. How's inflation looking? Still increasing. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Don't like that. Hyperinflation is potentially going to develop. Yeah. The budget deficit being the size that it is, it's not great. It's not great at all. Alcohol law, alcohol consumption. How's alcohol consumption looking? It's fine. It's fine. Everyone's opinion of me. Corruption? Corruption has decreased. That should make everyone like me a little bit, right? But apparently it just doesn't. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I don't really know. What can I do? What can I do that will make everyone happy? I have no idea. I have no idea. Maternity leave would be very, very popular. Helicopter money would also be quite popular, but that's gonna mean we're gonna implement. We're gonna faff around with technology grants. Technology grants also introduces a boost to productivity, which is great. Yeah, let's do that. Let's absolutely do that. Okay. Deficit situation is poor. Deficit situation is very, very poor. Let's not faff around with any of this stuff quite yet. Prisons. Prisons. I mean, we could state-of-the-art prisons. We could fund prisons to the max. Will that make a difference? I don't think it will, actually. Yeah, so it doesn't make a difference to our security assessment. Gated communities. We've actually already thought about what we want to do here. Yeah, we want to fully fund this, so let's max that out. Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous that we're not going to get reelected at this rate. We are close to 50%, but we are, like, not across the line quite yet. We need to start doing some speeches, I think, to try and get across the line here. Yeah, we need to start doing some speeches. We need to start doing some media events, because this is going to be close. This is going to be very, very close. Oh boy. Okay. Well, look, there's a lot to unpack in this turn here. First of all, GDP and a flash crash. The flash crash has completely decimated the economy, which is almost, wow, which is almost certainly going to mean that the capitalists despise me. The fact that the uncompetitive economy modifier has ended is great. It means that next turn our GDP is going to shoot right up. There's a massive budget deficit. Almost certainly next turn we're going to see our credit rating degraded yet further still, which is not exactly ideal. The skills shortage is starting to come online. Come on, skills shortage, come on. Maybe we want to reduce the border control situation for a little while. Scale this right back. Apolitical capital. Increase immigration. Decrease the skills shortage. Let's do it. Let's absolutely do it. Okay. Human development is now positively impacting everyone. That is good. So health is like continuing to rise, which is great. Wages have started to drop. Wages are going to continue to drop, actually. Education is on the up and up. Let's see if I can just continue to boost education or something like that. Welfare fraud department would net me a few extra pennies, but not really a big deal to be honest. Healthy eating campaign, reforestation. Reforestation is a great policy, actually. Youth club subsidies, free parenting classes. Parents do actually despise me, I think. Yeah, parents do despise me. They're slowly but surely getting slightly happier with me, but that's okay. How many turns out from the election are we? 4 turns out from the election. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Right to privacy? Right to privacy would be an idea. Carpooling campaign. A carpooling campaign might just reduce gridlock a little bit. Let's see if we can introduce a couple of transport policies. Telecommuting initiative. Yep, great. Okay, that is excellent. Cost us 4 billion, but I can just about live with that. Tourism campaign. Let's boost that up. Yep, let's just get everything that is a small little policy that we can get, we'll just boost. Alcohol consumption will decrease that, because alcohol consumption is going to start to increase again. It started to come back. It started to come back because we've relaxed the alcohol law, which is going to negatively impact productivity, but that's fine. Okay, this is a big turn for us next turn. Skills shortage, yep, immigration. We've basically uncapped immigration, or at least uncapped it a little bit. Education is continuing to rise, which is great. Faith school subsidies, I maybe should boost that up, but again, super duper expensive, and I don't really want to mess around with that altogether too much at this moment in time. Anything that I can adjust at the moment? No. Family planning, I can boost that up a little bit. That would be cheap. That would be cheerful. Gender equality, health, education. Yeah, you know what? Let's go for that. Let's boost that up as much as we possibly can. All right. We're 4 turns out. We're 4 turns out, video game. Wow. Okay. Credit rating is degraded, but high productivity has now become a thing, which is great because we are working our people to the bone, frankly. We really are. That's kind of miraculous that we've got a high productivity economy. It's going to be really difficult to get rid of this high productivity economy, I suspect, which leads to just a monstrous increase in GDP. Yeah, we basically recovered to where the flash crash took us down to. I still would expect another good turn. Another good turn of growth there. Are we like maxed out here? What's the issue? Disposable income, original income. Do I just need to, like, reduce income tax? I'm running a monstrous deficit, by the way, which I really dislike. everyone still hates me. I mean, press freedom, we can decrease... If we were able to decrease press freedom, then that would be great. We need 37 political capital, though. What are the chances that magically a hyperinflation situation is going to develop in the next turn? Unfortunately, there is 0 chance of that happening. I mean, a lot of people like me, and yet I'm still just not as popular as I need to be. Property tax. It's not even worth just deleting this, is it? No, it's income tax. Income tax is where the middle income despise me. Basically raises no money for me. Yeah. I mean, what about some tax relief? What about some tax relief? How about that? Can we introduce married tax allowance, mortgage tax relief? No, because it's too darn expensive to do that. Frequent flyer tax, hybrid cars initiative, micro generation grants. Gridlock. Gridlock is going to end next turn, which is honestly fantastic. That is really, really good. Traffic congestion has started to decrease, presumably because I tried to decrease car usage. Yeah, so that's nice. Obesity. Obesity is on the way down. The health food subsidies is coming online swiftly. Health, presumably still continuing to increase, even at a slightly slower pace, but that's totally fine. Respiratory disease, I wouldn't anticipate this actually ending anytime soon, but it would be nice if it did. Skill shortage, yeah, we need to continue to fund education projects, I think. Environmental protests. If we can just improve the environment just a little bit, then that would make a huge difference. Clean energy subsidies, I don't want to do that because that's going to upset capitalists. Man. Something to appease the capitalists here. Yeah, small business grants. Let's do that. Let's fully fund that. Let's fully fund that, and let's just hope that our GDP recovers. Capitalist opinion is gonna increase. Capitalist income is gonna increase, which is great. Socialist membership is gonna decrease, but the socialists don't actually hate it, which is wonderful. Let's fully fund technology colleges as well. Go for it. Okay, so I mean, this is like pretty much absolutely everything that I can throw at... Everything that I can throw at everyone has been thrown at them. You know, this is the situation. I mean, look, this is what we need. This is what we need. Okay, the gig economy ending, bit of a pain in the backside, actually. I do like the gig economy. However, gridlock ending is fantastic. Education is up by a big amount, which is great. Health is up by another big amount, which is great. GDP is up by an absolutely monstrous amount and actually takes us to our highest point ever. I mean, it was... I should have commented on this earlier, but, you know, our GDP was trending down basically since the start of the game, and with 2 quarters, we have increased our GDP tremendously, which is really, really good. Gridlock has ended, which is, I mean, just so fantastic. We do have a massive deficit situation, but that's okay. Next turn or the turn after that, we're going to be fine. Capitalist opinion is very, very high. What is going on here? What is going on? Why am I not able to get above 50%. This is a big old problem. This is a big old problem. So the enemy has got 173,000 members. They've got 0 activists. I've got loads and loads of activists. Can I do some speeches? Fundraising as well. Fundraising is not exactly ideal. I should start doing some speeches and stuff. But is there any chance that maybe I'd just be able to end, like, I don't know, one of these policies? No, not really. Environmental protests, that's going to end, which is great. That's going to free up even more GDP. Skills shortage, that's going to also end at some point soon. Okay, this is good, but I mean, lots of people say that they like me, but nobody actually likes me enough to properly vote for me. I mean, can I do some focus groups to see what people think of me? 100% approval. 100% approval. What about you? You don't like me that much. Because you're a trade unionist, middle income, and also parent. Okay. I mean, I can scale down income tax for a turn. Is this what we have to do? I think this is what we have to do. I'm a little bit worried. I'm a little bit worried that this is a bug here. I am very, very worried that this is a bug. The other alternative that I do have is to save up 37 political capital. I don't even know if that's possible. It's not really possible. 37 political capital and just manipulate the freedom of the press. Truthfully, that might very well be what we do. I mean, it is absolutely going to be what we do at some point. But it's just, I mean, how can I appease everyone? How can I appease everyone? Human development is already on the up and up. Health is going to continue to increase, which is great. Really, really good. I mean, do I have to do this? Do I really have to do this? Do I have to just reduce income tax for a couple of turns? This feels like a very political maneuver here. Middle income people just don't like me. They just don't like me that much. Capitalists thankfully do. Honestly, reducing income tax, it does both of the things that I wanted to do. It reduces middle income. It reduces middle income hatred for me, and it increases capitalist opinion of me. This is perhaps the most dangerous thing that we could do under the current circumstances, as it's going to balloon our deficit. It is going to balloon our deficit. However, it's something that we have to do. How's alcohol consumption looking? It's leveled out at an appropriately low level, which is good. Happy with that. Very, very happy with that. Welfare fraud department. Let's implement the welfare fraud department. That's another good thing for middle income opinion, and also for the bank balance. Technically, we do make a little bit of money, which is quite nice. I don't know what else I can do. I'm worried that there might be a bug here. Robotics research grants, no. Helicopter money, no. City farms, no. Hybrid cars initiative. I'm trying to appease everyone as much as I possibly can. Reforestation. Let's implement reforestation, sure. Maybe we can fix the respiratory disease. Reforestation is just a great policy, by the way. Really, really good policy. 2 political capital. Tobacco awareness campaign. In fact, what is the level of tobacco consumption in the country? It's probably increased a fair bit, hasn't it? Yeah, what with the increase of GDP and all that. Right, we'll introduce the tobacco awareness campaign. Let's hope that is fine. Streamer offers birthday song. I'm going to decline the offer. Everyone likes that apart from youths. I don't care about youth opinion, do I? I don't think so. Oh boy. All right, let's see what the heck happens. Let's see what the heck happens. Oh boy. Okay, richest company pays no tax. I'm okay with that. That's completely fine. GDP, another incredible quarter. What the heck is going on? Environmental protests end. Health continues to increase. Unemployment has just decreased dramatically. Our credit rating has actually been upgraded. I mean, I was not expecting that at all. My popularity, though, is still, like, absolutely limited. I mean, I have absolutely no idea what I can do to push my productivity up, or to push my approval above this point. I've really tried to adjust. I mean, do I need to end fake news? Is that what I need to do? Do I need to introduce internet censorship? I don't think that that's going to make any difference. Here's the thing, is that capitalists approve a lot. Capitalists do approve of me a lot. Middle income opinion is great. It's really good, even though we're running a massive deficit. My debt to GDP ratio is actually completely fine, so much so, as you can see, that my credit rating improved. But I mean, I have no idea. I have no idea how I can fix this. I mean, the focus groups are telling me that I'm doing great. The focus groups are telling me that I'm doing really, 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 really good. 100% approval. And yet, here I am, not able to get across the line. Raise human development by 50%. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do that. Cut income tax by 25%. Raise GDP by 25%. We'll do that. Cut welfare fraud department. I'm not going to do that. Cut income tax. Yeah, we'll do that. Make middle income people like me a little bit more. Private pensions raised by 50%. We'll do that. Excellent. That's all of the pledges that I can make on this turn. Increased capitalist opinion, decreased socialist opinion, that's fine with me. Retired membership, youth membership, liberals over conservatives. Self-employed over trade unionist. Sure, let's do that. Wealthy over poor. Don't really need to faff around with that too much. Motorist and farmers. Okay, I mean, we need to do speeches. I have absolutely no idea what more can be done here. Oh boy. Oh boy, people don't like that. Come on, finish on a high note. What the heck is that speech? I've never seen a speech like that before. Yeah, we're still not making anywhere near enough money, by the way, which is a big old problem. Trustworthy? People don't see me as trustworthy. That's fine. Let's do a media stunt. Any other stunts that I can do? Not really. I think that that's us out of political capital. Look, I mean, if this doesn't work, then I've either messed something up tremendously or something is bugged. I really do not know what more I could have done here to try and make everyone happy. And yet only 50% of people... Look, everyone is fanatically supportive. Look at this. Every single person is fanatically supportive, apart from like 2 people. And yet I still think that I'm going to lose at this election? For real? All right, well, you know what? Let's give it a shot. I'm not super happy about this. I mean, let's see how it goes. We have 47% popularity. I mean, how on earth the Labor League is able to win this, I have absolutely no idea. That feels unbelievably unfair, given that everyone said that they were gonna vote for me. Has this maybe got to do with fake news? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, look, I feel like I've been cheated. That's not exactly ideal, but you know what? You live and you learn. Maybe there'll be a patch. I don't know. If this is gonna be the case, I need to find out why I lost, because I honestly thought that I had done enough to try and appease people. It certainly felt like that was the case. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Middle income, I only got 48% of the of middle income. Yeah, wow, that was, and only 45% of the capitalist share of the vote. That's crazy. That's crazy low. I increased health literally to max. Lifespan massively up. International trade up massively. Inflation up a little bit, but don't even worry about that. Unemployment basically down to nothing. Human development was trending upwards incredibly. Productivity is up through the roof. Crime was at an all-time low. Traffic congestion decreasing as well. A huge amount of stuff. A huge amount of stuff happening, and I still don't exactly understand why I lost. All right, I'm going to have to feed back and find out what the issue is here. If you know, dear viewer, why the heck that happened, please do, in fact, let me know in the comments down below. As ever, thanks to the fantastic Patreon supporters over at patreon.com/showbutapotato. Also, thanks to Banana Nana and C-Senpai for being the $2 $25+ plus tier patrons. Thank you very, very much for watching, folks. I'll see you next time. Bye.